We are here with Johnny Giuntaa, one of 3 of the co-hosts of the Gate 14 podcast, all about the Toronto Blue Jays. So Johnny's going to give us his insight on how he feels about the Toronto Blue Jays, how their season is gone, and looking into the playoff push. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. And I'll say this, I'm not to pump your guys' tires. This is the nicest studio I've ever been in. I feel like this is way too good for me. I appreciate you guys having me. I'm excited for this.
No, not at all. We're happy to have you here. So why don't we just get right into your Twitter for one. So you tweeted a couple days ago that you're worried the Blue Jays are not going to make the playoffs. Why do you think that? What's the vibe there?
Well, I do this thing where I try to reverse jinx things because it seems like I'm a mush and everything I say happens. So I was nervous, though. I mean, the Mariners might never lose again. The Houston Astros might be the greatest team on the planet again. I was just a little bit nervous, but the Jays took care of business last night, so I'm feeling a little bit better. I'll be honest. I am feeling a little bit better about it for sure.
So with how the Jays kind of fluctuate in losses and wins, do you feel like you're riding an ongoing roller coaster of emotions?
Yes. I get chirped a lot by the burner accounts on Twitter, TikTok. The Johnny Giuntaa haters are sick after seeing this. They say I'm just a bandwagon fan, all that type of stuff. It's just I ride the waves of it. I watch every single game. I stream majority of the games. I experience what they experience. I feel like I'm on the team. I ride all the waves, and when they lose, it's just season's over. And then when they win, season's back on. I just ride the waves. That's what I do. That's why I think.
That's fair. That's a fair Jays fan, though. I feel like every Jays fan is like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, listen, I'm not a Leaf fan. I might hate the Leafs. I can't imagine the mental toll that team might have on people.
True.
So I deal with it with the Blue Jays, and that's it. That's the only toll my mental health can take is the Blue Jays.
So if you were on the team, what position do you think you would play?
The comment section is going to make fun of me about my junior college stats. So I was a first baseman, hit 160 below my body weight in junior college. So I'd be a morale guy. I feel like I'm on the aux cable. I'm just keeping the boys loose, maybe giving some people some dips, some zins, some beers after the game. I don't know if I'd have a position. I feel like I'd be the lieutenant of morale if I was in the Blue Jays.
Okay.
That would be my job.
What's the first song you're playing on the aux?
I've tapped into house music a lot lately, and I feel like that gets the boys going. So I'd probably have to do Delilah by Fred again. It'd be a lot of Fred again going on in that clubhouse.
Okay, so just going back to the playoffs, let's say the Jays don't make it. Will this be the biggest missed opportunity for the franchise, do you think?
I said this on radio the other day. If the Jays don't make the playoffs this year, I might turn Gate 14 into a romantic comedy podcast. I can't do it again. Last year I was at that 8-1 game, and I was depressed for 3 weeks after. If they don't make the playoffs this year, this will be one of the worst missed opportunities ever because this pitching staff is so good. I was talking with you guys earlier, this is the best pitching staff I've ever seen this team have. And if they don't make the playoffs, I don't know. I'll be so mad because the offense wasn't supposed to be the problem. It was supposed to be the pitching. And now the pitching's the best and the offense is the problem. So it'd be very, very frustrating. It'd be a tough 2 to 3 weeks after the season if they didn't make it.
So do they just need to make the playoffs for you to be happy?
Yeah, I'm not greedy. I'm not a greedy guy. I'm not a greedy guy. Just give me postseason baseball where I can watch the Jays on Fox or wherever and just hear some postseason announcers, some different announcers in a different ballpark. I'm not going to get greedy. The rest is just icing on the cake. I just want postseason baseball.
So in terms of the hitting problems with the Jays, why do you think they haven't brought someone else in, another voice to kind of bring it back to life?
See, listen, I was a Guillermo Martinez hater. Then I went out to him. I was at the bar 3 weeks ago and went out with him, saw him there. And then he invited us back to a club with him. So I will not be bashing Guillermo anymore. I've focused my attention on the hitting strategist, Dave Hudgens. So if Dave Hudgens is gone, this team will figure it out. I will not be vouching for Guillermo Martinez to lose his job. Like I said, he's my guy now. That's all it takes, actually. If you are bad on the Blue Jays and you buy me a beer,
I was just going to say, all you have to do is buy you a beer.
Honestly, if Charlie Montoya took me for a drink, I would have never celebrated him being fired. That's where I'm at with that.
What if Atkins brings you for a drink?
I'm an Atkins guy. Atkins is a four-eyed guy like me. I can resonate with him. He's decent looking, good guy. Seems like a family man. Yeah, if he bought me one drink or even just acknowledged Gate 14 on some sort of meeting, I'm all in. That's all it takes. I said on the podcast.
So do you think if they miss the playoffs, Atkins got to go?
He hasn't bought me a drink, so I can say this. I think Atkins should be gone. James Click's waiting right there in the crosshairs. I mean, that's a guy who built the Houston Astros, built a really good bullpen, built a really good farm system, really good team. So I think James Click's right there waiting in the crosshairs. And if Atkins doesn't make the playoffs this year, I think he's gone. Pack your bags.
And then maybe you can move into the staff as well.
My team would have the greatest morale and all. I don't know if it'd be the best product on the field. I would pick guys that I could go out with, just like a bunch of friends that I would just be giving contracts to.
So in terms of Vladdy and the hitting issues, what is the real Vladdy? 2021 Vlad, 2023? Where's the real guy?
See, the problem with Vladdy is he's so young still. He's 24 years old, not even really in his prime. It's hard to gauge, but these approaches at the plate, like yesterday, first and second, one out, and this dude is swinging first pitch, immediate double play ball. He's just, we say it all the time. I think he's just the greatest singles hitter ever. His slugging percentage is down, way down actually. I don't know where I'm at with him. Like 2021 was insane. He was so good then. It's hard to mimic that year, but I do think he's a really good hitter still. It's just, is he the generational hitter that we were promised? 80 grade power hit tool? I'm not sure if he's that guy.
Yeah. Do you think Bo Bichette will actually sign here before he's a free agent?
I think he will. I mean, the Jays have showed urgency. I mean, they gave him a pretty decent amount of money this offseason in arbitration. I mean, he won the case, or I think they actually gave him money to avoid arbitration, so they gave him more than he was supposed to get. I do think he's going to stay here. He obviously loves it here. I mean, he's the main guy, and he's comfortable here. He's been here his entire career. He's more familiar with the coaching staff, all that type of stuff. It would have to be a significant amount of money, because if you have markets where there's no income tax, right? 350 million is 350 million over there, right? 350 million here is God knows what that is. So I do think he will stay here. He wants to be here. It seems like he's happy here, and he's comfortable here, so I do think he'll stay here, and I do think that they will sign him before. So Vladdy's got to be sick, because he is going to take all the money Vladdy's supposed to be getting. I mean, Bo Bichette is going to probably get, I'm assuming in the Corey Seager range, probably like 350 million, 360 million, and I mean, he's worth every single penny. I think Bo Bichette is the best player on this team, and this team goes wherever he goes. I mean, they're 3-0 since he came back from injury. So
it's interesting though, because people would argue that Vlad would deserve all of that, you know?
Yeah.
And now with Bo kind of being that star player, why do you think it shifted that way? And do you think fans are happy about that?
I think the problem with it is the Jays are, at the end of the day, they're going to have to pick one, right? I mean, you can't lock up two guys, 350 million, then the rest of your team is going to be orchestrated, I don't know if that's even a word, of guys that are like low salary guys and all that type of stuff. The Jays at the end of the day are going to have to pick one, and I think their mindset was they were going to let them two battle it out for it, and Bo Bichette clearly has the advantage in that situation. So I hate to say this, but you could get the production that Vladdy is giving you from multiple other first basemen in the league. It sucks to say. I know he's a generational guy. He's from Canada, born in Montreal, but there's not many Bo Bichettes walking around the planet. He's probably the top two shortstop in the league, him and Corey Seager. So I'm 100% more comfortable giving as many money backing up the Brinks truck for Bo Bichette.
Who do you think offensively needs to step it up?
I was going to say Dalton Varsho, but that guy has been on the loose in the last 3 weeks. I think he's hitting 320. I would have said him, but obviously it's Matt Chapman. I mean, this guy, he misses elevated fastballs. You throw 93 up in the zone, he can't hit it. He's a guy that's been underperforming since that Linsanity run that he had in April, right? So I would probably say Matt Chapman has to step it up. That's probably the only guy where I'm thinking where it's like he's a premium position at third base. He plays defense really well. His at-bats are terrible.
Yeah.
So bad to watch.
Defensively, is there anyone you would pick?
I think the outfield is leading the league in defensive runs saved. So the outfield's really well. Maybe a little bit at the catcher position, even though Alejandro Kirk's leading the league in defensive runs saved. But I feel like every single team is stealing on the Blue Jays.
So where can viewers find you?
Well, Gate 14 podcast on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything like that. And then Johnny Giuntaa _ on social media on Instagram, because Mark Zuckerberg deleted my old account. Johnny Giuntaa with 2 A's on Twitter. Listen, I do tweet a lot. I will warn that if you are following me, I do tweet a lot. Actually, we calculated yesterday. Last month, I had 809 tweets. So I'm locked into the Twitter game. I'm married to the content game. That's the only wife I have. So you can find me on all those social sites. So keep a tab on me there.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and giving us all of your thoughts on the Toronto Blue Jays and moving forward into the playoffs. This will be on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.